Hello, on this video I'm going to demonstrate how to use my MyWebUniversity website to just learn Linux. So if you visit the URL mywebuniversity.com, you will be presented with this main page, which like if you just go down on the scroll bar and click on the right arrow key here, and that is going to provide you the table of contents for the book that I wrote, which is online. The book is going to teach you Linux Ubuntu version 20, basically, that is running on my Solaris machine. I'm sorry, not Solaris, Linux Ubuntu machine, which is hosted in Germany. So this interface is having about 7 chapters, but chapter 2 is the book that I'm going to, and the part that I'm going to cover today. So if you go to chapter 2, the Unix and Linux basic commands, so on this chapter you will be presented with these videos for the chapter, which is also available on YouTube. You can watch each of these videos and you will learn the entire chapters with examples on the YouTube video. At the same time, I'm going to cover all these three commands here using the website, so you can see that why I wrote this one as a Python program to allow you to interactively run the program and get the output in front of your keystrokes on the browser side. So if you look at any of these commands, and these commands are basically basic Unix and Linux commands, and then mostly the commands are used on Unix platform as well as Linux. But these examples that are running are all on Linux Ubuntu version 20. So if you look at the first command, for each command I have this section called what is this command, and also provide a man page for it, and then also examples. As an example, if I look at the banner, for example, it will show the banner is has a what is section which makes posters, and then there's examples here. So when you write banner peace for all, this will be displayed, and when you write hello world in front of banner as an argument like this, you can see that will produce this. And if you say banner I love to play football, this would be that I love to play football, as you can see on the banner display here. And then you can also use some of the commands here. So let me log into mywebuniversity.com website. I'm going to SSH here, and connection closed. Let me just re-log in, because I was setting it there for a while. Clear the screen. Clear the screen and then say ssh -l www.mywebuniversity.com. So now I'm logged on the webuniversity.com. If I say banner, let me just make this screen a little bit bigger so you would see it nicer. And just if I say banner hello, it will just say hello. Banner and then hello word. So every argument that I pass on, if I just say a really long command, say, and this is a simple test that I like to do. Notice that each of those ones comes as arg sub0, arg sub1. Arg sub0 would be the banner command itself. Arg sub1 would be this is the arg sub2, and then A is 3, and so on. So the parameters are passed on and you will see the full string. But if you clear the screen and say banner love and peace, peace for all, notice that this will be truncated because the number of characters fits on one. It will not be available as this the entire thing, since it's within the string. It will be executed as as if it was one command. Now banner is the $0, love is $1, $2, and then $3 is peace, $4, and then is for, and $5 is all. Now this time it will just print everything that I want the way I want to display it. So it says love and peace for all, because we didn't code it. So if you want to write one word of a long word, you have to put it like as a separate argument, not within the double quotes. That is so. If you look at man banner, this basically it says print larger banners. That's what we saw it in there as well. And if you go on the website and look for the same thing, say man banner, that if there is argument here, it will just say exactly what it is. Man large print on this, because I'm producing the same output dynamically on the website. So you don't need to install Linux Ubuntu on a server. All you need is a browser and internet connection in order to learn Linux. So you could be sitting on a Windows machine, or you could be sitting in front of a Mac, Linux, Unix, a cell phone, anything. As long as you have a browser and internet access, you can go to my website and then just start learning. So in here, let's say for example calendar command. If you look at the calendar, I made it easy because it says what is calendar. Calendar displays a calendar. Yeah, it does. And then these are examples that you can practice with. And then man calendar will actually give you output of the calendar command, and you can read it and then understand it. All these options that are there, you can practice with them. -J for Julian format, and minus uppercase B for before, or uppercase A for after. All these information you can practice with them. And then here I'm also producing, for example, if you click on the calendar, you could see that it shows today in June 2022. And how do I know that it's today? If I look at my commands here, since it's calendar, I can just replace that one to date, and then just say show me today's date. It will say June 23rd. Today is June 23rd, 1:59 Eastern Daytime, which is dynamically running on the system here. How do I know that one? I could do a uname plus -A for all. So this one will produce saying that I'm on a Linux Ubuntu server, and then a lot of the information here that you're doing it, I'm using a browser, and then dynamically I create this one. This is, you don't need a Linux Ubuntu server to test this one. Like I'm logged on here, I could do the same thing, saying that uname -A, and clear my screen, uname -A. Notice this output is basically, that output is the same thing as this output. So if I type in here uname -S, clear my screen, in uname -S, you could see it's Linux, the system. So in this case, if I just come back here on the browser side, let me just minimize this one, uname -S is there. So if I just instead of -A, so and this one is actually waiting for this one. For some reason, and the browser hanged. I'm going to just wait for it. Yeah, so uname -S, you could see that it's gonna come with Linux. Same output as this one, uname -S. So this is really nice, because if I say uname version. So you could see that dash version is there, or uname dash help. You could see all the information is here. I could just change the same thing here with dash help, and then you can get the same output here as well as on the Linux machine. So if I just use the browser, how cool is that? Because you just are using a browser. Let me make sure that the refresh did not get updated correctly with Firefox is having a difficult time, so wait for this one. Yeah, so you can see that uname dash help is there. And then if I just go back to MyWebUniversity.com, let's say /chapter2, which is where I started off, then we use the calendar command. So calendar command, you could practice any of them, calendar 2, 9098. You can just change this one to, let's say, calendar 6, 2022, which is today, and this month, in June. So if I just change that one to June, and then I could just run the calendar command without any argument, it is just giving me that. And then if I needed a Julian format, plus minus J, so this is my command that is, let's see, why is it just that calendar plus minus J. Let me just make sure that here clear screen cal minus J. So cal minus J is a lowercase. If you type in uppercase, that command is not going to produce. That's why that other output comes in. So you have to type in cal minus J in lowercase, Julian format, and you get not a Julian format here because of whatever reason that is parsing it inaccurately. But for the rest of the information, if I say cal plus 9070, let's say 9070, I can get that output for 9070 in that format. So you can practice the commands that I'm showing you here by clicking on the command and practice each one of them as you go. Like for example, calendar 6 2001, you can just get for 2001 for June. So this is the calendar command which display the information. You can also get the man for calendar and by just reading the calendar syntax and then practice with it. And then if I just want to get more information, for example here for calendar, clear the screen man calendar, it just tells me that I have those in front of me. I can do, like for example, cal minus A2 and show me like 2 months after June. So July and August will show. If I just change that one to a 5 months would be showing. Similarly, if I say calendar minus 2 minus uppercase B before 2 months before June, so that was May and April, and then that would be giving me, or if I want to see 5 months before, I could get that one. So those syntax that you are seeing it, you can do it, and you can see which cal, also which new cal. On Linux, the new calendar is also there. New calendar is also nice because it shows you in this format, but at the same time it highlights, like the calendar command highlights and the current date. So if I just type in date, it is June 23rd. So let's go back to the documentation here and just execute the next command. We tried already the calendar command, and so now we're going to do the cat command. The cat is for concatenation, to display a file. Basically it says what is cat, concatenate files and print on the standard output. You can also use a cat to send it to redirect it to another file, or you can just use it like also like an editorial. and I have given a lot of examples on the actual PDF files that I wrote on this one. But here, if you just cat -n, this just basically shows the etc network file with line number. So there's 2 lines on it and it will display it. Similarly, if you do cat 2 files next to each other by saying etc network and etc OS release, both files will be just concatenated next to each other, or one after the other one. And then the cat command has a lot of good nice syntax. So if I just you are welcome to see on my YouTube video a separate video that I made for cat command, and that I showed all the videos of all the commands and examples of it. Man cat would just show you, for example, with -e for everything, -a for all those options that we're doing it to see the content of a file, like cat etc host file. You could see the content of the file, but if I look at the cat -n on it, you could see that it is just line numbers. And if I want to see for all the information related to it, I could say cat -a, and notice there's a $sign is at the end of it, and that it's showing up here. So I could also do cat -ea. Everything and non-visible characters will also be showing. If there were tabs on it, it will show, like, let's say OS-release. That is all the new line characters are there, and then there's no tab on it, but it would be control kind of I, that would be if there's a tab, or /t for octal dump of octal dump -c for character etc OS-release. You could see that the new line characters are showing instead of $/n, and if there's any tab, would be a /t, and that would be there, and then /new line is the end of line. So we can see the content of it that way also. And then if you're looking for another command here, and that we are doing it, is clear command. Clear is very easy. You could do clear or tput clear. So like if I want to clear my screen here, it's clear. When you do some command here in df-h, and then if you say tput clear, it's the same thing as clear command. So who -r, and then w, and then I say clear, it will just clear the screen. So that command is also very nice. Tput clear does the same thing as clear does. And then we are going to show you the date command. So for the date, I'm just showing a lot of different format here, that because the date is, you don't want to change the date or timestamp or something. Normally you want to set up NTPD for a network time protocol daemon that is there, or cronid, a lot of the stuff depending on what platform you're doing it. And so the date command is very basic command that set up the date and the timestamp and everything, and returns the date of the month. So if I just say clear screen and then type in date, you can see today's date is June and this. You can also use this format of plus a percentage. For example, if you want to do month and then dash percentage day, and then dash percentage y for year, and then you could get that one in that format. So you can see it is 10:06 for the month. It should have been 06 rather than 10. I'm not sure why the 10 shows up. Day is 23rd, and then the format, somehow the slash, it is not getting it. Let's see. Yeah, so the lowercase is the one that you want to do percentage a month, and then percentage day, but you want to put it separated by slash, and then the year is fine. So this is what I wanted to do in the first place. Somehow I put those ones in uppercase, and that's why it did not translate well. And if you do percentage timestamp, let's say T, that would give you a timestamp of that time that it is there currently. So there's a very nice way to format it. You can put it into a variable, and you can just use that variable dynamically and run it there. So man date would also give you a lot of the details. You can see all this syntax that is there, whether you want to just change the format or not, and all these parameters that we just use, a couple of them are there. And then here there's some examples, and that is for the date. You want to print that format or this format, anything, you can do that, the time zone, everything. So let's go to the next one. I'm going to just leave this one here, and then for this one we already looked at it. You can read it and then look at the examples and practice it. The nice thing is that even if you don't have a Linux platform, you don't have to have one. You can just come in on this system and practice with them. Some of the commands that if you click on it, and as I say that you're not allowed to run this command, because I don't want a hacker to just run like a command echo rm-rf, send it to a file, and then just at the same time clean up my system and just hack it. So that those kind of things I have to watch for it, and don't allow it. But you can do echo and then write messages, say this is a simple test, and then you could do that. And then if you just do a new line character, the new line characters, you just have to do -e here for expression, and now it understand those ones. So if I just use the tab here between these two /tab, notice the T and translate to this tab. But you have to have this minus expression in order for this /t/n to be recognized. Otherwise it will just say as if it was a raw character like this. It will be displayed here. So it is best to just do that way, echo that one. And you can do echo and send this one to a information file like t.text, and now t.text it has that information. I'm going to remove it, I don't need it, so it just was demonstration purpose. And then let's just come back here. We did the echo and then the head command. Head command, you can just say head -1 etc host. You will see line 1 of it, as you can see. And then basically head is the opposite of tail. So if you say head -2, you'll see 2 lines. Head -10, it will be 10 lines. So if I just say cat -n etc os dash release, you can see there's 12 lines on this one. Right, so let's say it is 12 lines, and I say head -5 etc os dash release, it will only read me the 5 lines. And then if I just wanna send this one to a file as t again, and then word count -lt, now it says that it has 5 lines. And then cat -n t, it will just show me that 5 lines that I did. And then similarly the tail command, tail -5 would be reading from os-release the last 5. So this is 12, the starting from maybe the line support, which is 8, and the other one is 5. So you can also do this and say, for example, cat etc os-release, and then you can just say tail -2, the last 2 lines you want to see it, or the last 1 line. So you can pick up whatever line you want to do it there. And then sometimes the tail and head is really nice because you can do grep out something. There's chapter 3, which is more intermediate commands. I'll show you those ones also with grep and egrep and other commands. So let's just go to this chapter, make sure we cover everything on this chapter, on this video, and then we follow the next one. So head etc host file, it will just display in the head of it. So if the file is really long, like head by default on the OS release, you can see that word count -l etc os-release is 12. So cat it is cat -n etc os release. Notice that OS release is the privacy is 10 lines. By default, the cat, the head, it only reads the first 10 lines. Similarly with the tail, so let's say I say tail by default etc os-release, it reads from ID. So ID is right here again, the first 10, the last 10 lines. It will just by default would read it. It's good to understand those ones, but you don't need to just, you can always specify the number of lines you want to read. So the next command is, I'm sorry, I moved into the intermediate. So let me just go to back to the chapter 2 basic commands, and we did head hostname. Hostname is just basically showing you the hostname of the server. So whatever is the server on this one, like let's say I just open up here a new terminal. Let me just open up a terminal. So on this one, if you see this one, clear the screen. On this one, if I say hostname, it's algorithm. That's my hostname here. On this one, the hostname is U22, that number. So if I just say hostname, it will just tell me the exact hostname. And that is basically in the etc host file. And then there's an IP address for it and everything. So this one is the name that is showing. And the same thing here, cat etc host. And then you can see that algorithm is the host name, and that is defined on the loopback interface there. So the host name is good, and then host ID is another command that gives you the hexadecimal equivalent for the host name. Host name Ctl is another command that shows you the host name with more information in terms of the operating system version and the kernel version and the architecture of the machine. So hostname Ctl is a Linux or Linux and Ubuntu, CentOS and Rocky version that you can run hostname Ctl. But if you're on a Solaris or Unix platform, if you type in hostname Ctl or journal Ctl or any other commands that are Ctl may not work at all, because hostname Ctl is a Linux command, not a Solaris command. So let's go back to the next command, and you can see here I did a host ID, and this I was on a Solaris machine, and then hostname was returning my Solaris hard. You used to write code on the Unix or Solaris platform, Spark, and then x86 version as well. Host name and then host ID, host and ID. So if I just run the host name command here, and this was the output, and then host command itself is also right here. It shows that similarly you can say the host information and get the MyWebUniversity.com, for example, the details, and all these other ones, host. So host followed by a name like google.com would give you all the details. So if I just come in here, clear my screen, say host, and then www.mywebuniversity.com, or just without the www, it still should come up with DNS name and IP address. Similarly, if I say host oracle.com, then it will give me Oracle website. host google.com, it will give me the Google information with IP address and everything there. And then the next command that we were looking was id dash u give me the user id, id dash g group id, id un will give me a word name, id for the group n would give me the group id for it, and then id by itself would give me all the information there. Get and password wlutfi would also show me the same information, with my user ID being 1000 and my group ID would be 1000. And the equivalent of those ones, when you do the dash G, it shows the 1000, but dash GN would show you wlutfi as the group ID name. So the name word for it. And then here, if I just go back on the website, look at the ID here, you can see that it is just the same command. If I just say ID, it will just say that same command that we're giving the output outside there. So let's go back to the next command, info. Info is like man pages. You can get info on a command like printf statement. You can get more details and examples. And so info on info itself, you can get output for the info on info. There's a lot of a very nice way to get it. So since I'm providing a lot of commands here, info on systemctl, you could just read these ones, and then these are the info. And if you want the man pages on info, it will just be here. It will be available for you. I'm not gonna show it on the shell, the bash, because it's redundant. So paste command, and this is like putting content of one file to another file, like file1, file2.txt, and you want to put them together. Like, let's say for example I say echo welcome to, and then send this one to a file called t. Now the t contents has welcome to, and then I say my space MyWebUniversity.com. So just that, if I just do this one, now if I just say cat t and f, the MyWebUniversity.com, I'm going to send it to another file, f. So cat t has that one, cat f has that one. Now if I say cat t and f, it will write that, but it's going to be on 2 lines. But if I use paste t and f and send it to a file called b for both, now b has welcome to MyWebUniversity.com. And then since it was separated by a tab space, and that is there. So if I vi the file on b, you can see if I set the list, you can see that control I characters is right here. That's almost like a tab here. And then the new line character. So if I just copy this line YY and paste, and then get rid of it on the second one, make it just a space, notice that and the information is there. Now cat B, notice that on the first one had the line tab, so it is tabbed here, but the second one was a space. How do I know that one? Let me clear my screen and then do this, and then I say cat minus. Remember we learned the EA, and on B you can see that it shows the EA shows the non-visible characters, which are control I for tab and $sign for this and $sign that. But the space is just a space, so it doesn't complain about it. Now if I do a octal dump minus C on B, you can see that, and there's a /t as I mentioned before, and then the new line characters are this and that /n, and that's how it is going to be translated. So let me go to the next one. So we looked at the command paste, and then ps command. PS is for process command. So if I just want to get root level processes, I say ps minus u root, and then ps clear the screen here, ps-u root. It will just show all the process for root. ps-u and wlutfi will show me my processes that are there. And then for the system D and everything that I started in, those processes are available. So just the output of ps-u root, if I just say ps-p123, that would be showing all the file descriptors, I mean all the process that are having process ID of 1, which is system D, and then 2 is kernel thread D, and then 3 is that. Similarly, if I just go here and say ps, so the syntax was ps minus p for the process, and then separated by 1, 2, 3. That would just give me exact output that I was looking at there. And then if I'm looking for Apache process, and then you could see ps minus efa grep Apache. So similarly, if I just say ps minus efa grep for Apache, you could see the same process that are here or there. If I just don't want to see this grep command here, then I just have to do a grep grep minus v grep, meaning that don't show me my last grep command, only show the actual processes that are running. This one is just my command here that I'm grepping out, so I have to grep it out again. So that's for the process command. And then pwd, process print working directory. So in this one, since I'm on the CGI directory, user bin, the output is showing user bin CGI. But here, since I'm on this directory and pwd, if I go to user lib CGI dash bin, then I type in pwd, it will show that one. If I just type in on my current directory, it's there. So if I go to root, pwd will give me to that. /var pwd will give me that. cd to etc pwd there. So everywhere that you go, pwd shows you print working directory. There's also a $sign pwd which is pointing to the current working directory. So if I say cd, now I'm on my home directory, echo $sign pwd will just say that it's there. And then echo $sign home, it also points to my home directory. Echo $sign shell will just be pointing to my shell. So if I say get int password and wlutfi, you can see my shell is /bin bash. So some of those variables were there, and you can do export or set env or other commands that are depend on what platform you are, to just get some of those outputs there. There's another command that is pwdx, print working directory of executable. So like for example ps and dash ps, like for example that bash, if I say pwdx of the process ID of minus p144575, then you don't need that minus p in this case. It will just say it started from this one. So system D pwdx of 1, and you can see it's giving me permission denied, so I need to go root, and once I'm root now pwdx of 1, it will just stay in there. So we will look at a lot of the proc file system with pmap, pstack, pwait, s3. There's a lot of them that we can practice on these ones and just get output of it. For example, pmap of process ID 1, you can see that all the system D, the processes that are there, or P3 of it, PS3 as on Linux is PS3. You can see the process 3. or pstream 3 there. But since we are on this topic with PWD, we want to finish this chapter, and sometimes jumping back and forth with other chapters, and that's okay as well, because you're learning. Whenever you learn, you don't want to limit yourself to specific things. So uname -a will just produce that output that we did practice, those ones, and uname -r for revision of the kernel, and uname for example n for node name, uname -m for the machine type on the x86. The platform is also x86, or the hardware information is also x86. So we did in this one uname -sr. It give you the system kernel as well as revision. So if I just clear the screen and say uname -sr, you can get the same output as here. I'm just gonna put this one. You can see this one and that one because I'm on the same machine. But here the luxury is that you're not logged on the machine. You could just run the command from a browser, and I'm doing all the work on the background. I'm bringing the output to you, and you are learning Linux very easily. Learn Linux by examples. This is what this book is all about. You're just learning it as you go by the practicing in the examples on there. So this one, sometimes if your internet is slow, the browser may just freeze. That's not an issue with the website or anything with the commands, but it's just the fact that Firefox or something may just be like it just took a while to just get that clicked. So less command, we just are showing like less some file name. You can see the content of a file name. Less page and more are very similar commands. They just either less is just giving you very little information compared to more. But more is here. Similarly, you can just see the content of a file, and one page at a time you can do. And there's page. The page command is sometimes alias. It's not actually a command, but more and less are commands. And they also provide you option for searching, so you can do like a VI tutorial, like search and kind of look for specific content of a file. Pages here again similar. You can, if the command doesn't work, most likely either the package is not part of this version, or the alias or whatever binary needs to be there and needs to be created. Ping command is something like you can ping websites, so you can do ping google.com and it will just say yeah, it is up and running, or ping MyWebUniversity.com. So you can see that it is there. So whenever you do an lookup on MyWebUniversity.com, it shows that this IP address of this. And then there's a command. You can also get dig MyWebUniversity.com. That will also give you the same unique IP address that is there. So whenever you ping it, ping MyWebUniversity.com, it shows that that server is up and running. So I could control C of it, and then I say, and let's look up name server lookup MyWebUniversity.com, and it will just come up with that IP address of .231. And if I want to say -a for query is equal -a, that would be showing me the A record, DNS A record, or I could do a -mx, query is equal mx. This would give me there's a mail exchanger record. So for example, if I do the same thing for google.com, then you can see the smtp.google.com. And then similarly for some other site, we could check it. -q is equal and let's say a google.com shows you all the a record of it. Let's go back to the ping. We did the ping, and let's look up. We already did that one. Dig, we already did that dig command. At rm. This is like whenever you run the add jobs, you can do at rm to remove the job. And so that is this syntax is right here. Add queue is to check the queue status, and add itself is to just start the job. Like here I said add now plus 1 minute. You can run the pwd ls minus -l and this. So that is how fast you want to just execute this one. But clear the screen, and then let's say for example in here I want to just run the, let me do this. Okay, wait for this one. So I say add now, and then just add now, and then say add now plus 1 minute, and then less than sign. So this is how you run it, because on that one I had to show it as a demo what I did. So there's a less than sign, but that's not required. So when you say add now plus 1 minute, now I do the commands and then say date and who minus r, uname minus a, and then control D out of it. Now the job is submitted. If I just say add queue, that job is already there, but it will show in 1 minute there, and then the command will run, and then the list is there. Yeah, so that by itself you don't do an add queue. It's there, and I think I did job at this one, so it is going to be submitted there. And there's a var spool commands. There's cron and then add also var spool cron, and then cron d is if you're running add jobs, and there's under that one add jobs. So it is empty right now, and then cron tab minus -l would give you the, if you are running any cron tab. If you do a cron tab minus e, you could just start the cron job here, and the syntax is right here. You could just maybe just copy one of these lines and then say okay, just run every hour, that is saying 0 every hour on this Sunday or something, this command, whatever is the command you want to do, and then just the output of it. If you want to redirect that one to say double greater sign to like a var backup / home.log, and then to greater sign &1, saying that whatever is the output of this command, it also run it there. So let's say I just save this one, and then wq. Now I say cron tab minus -l. Now you see that this command is available. So since I'm already root, this under the var spool cron directory, that cron var spool cron and then cron tabs. So cron tabs is just basically, sorry, cat cron tabs. This one is a directory, cron tabs, and then there's a file called root that is the same thing as my cron tab minus -l. So vi or cron tab minus e for root again. If I just don't want to run this one, I comment it out, say no, I don't want to run it there. Now by saving it again, I say cron cap -L, it will just say this is commented out, there's no cron, and that is running here. But the content of this file is again root is there and it's commented. Whatever you modify there, it is there. And so add q is there, and then sort. Let's say for this one, add q is same file, same outputs. Sort is another command that you can practice, like sort -rn. Reverse in numbers, and sort me.txt file. If you just want to sort this file in reverse order, you can do it. So, and then here I'm giving you some examples of it, but this again is not authorized because the syntax is looking for something like cat and then awk sort -n. I'm not for some reason just and my script is saying that I don't want to allow that one, because I don't want the person to just masquerade and just add some other argument to it and just do something with it. So here, if you look at all the HTML files and then sort it there, you can do that too. And here with the RN reverse numbers, so Solaris comes on top there, and then this one is just a regular sort without descending order. This one is in ascending order. Somehow this line and that line is duplicated, so it is okay. I just could remove that one. And then the next command is tag. Tag is very useful command. Sometimes when you're writing programs in C or C++ and compiling the entire directory, in order to run the make utility, you can tag it. Sometimes you could just tag a file so to make sure that you are able to write it. Since this directory is root, if I just say tag this, I can just see that that file 0 byte got created. And if I say, let's say the next file that I'm just having here, if I just look at file lv.sh, so the lv.sh is May 30th, but if I say tag lv.sh, now say lv.sh, you can see that it got a timestamp of June 23rd. So when you're compiling a program that has .c++ extension or something, if you tag the entire directory, the make utility will think that, okay, you modify something on that directory. In order to recompile it and create the object files and other things, you usually are using the tag command to, instead of just VIing a file and not modifying anything. If you look at the file and you want to recompile it using the make utility, then you can just change the timestamp of it. You don't have to change the content of the file in order to get a new compilation, to see if the compilation works or not. So here we could attach a lot of things and do it, but notice here, if I just rm the file this and then I exit out of this, now I'm going to go to root directory. If I say cd, it doesn't even take me there. Var is spool, it takes me there, and then but I don't have the permission to write to this directory, so I say tag this, it says permission denied. But if I go to my home directory and I say tag this, since I have the permissions to write to that directory, that file is getting created. You can just name it anything. I just practice as this. It's just a habit that we all build from time to time. This W command is to show you who is logged on the system and the details of the current user. So clear screen, who is there, W, and then you can also just use some of the parameter like -i, so who -i give you that, and then I'm sorry, who W -i. So if I do a who -r for run level, I could get that one. Who by default, it shows who's logged on the system, and W is giving you the current user that are logged on, who W -i there. Man W, you can see that options If you don't want to see the header information, you say dash and the short version, all of these options, some of them I already provide you, like w-s for short version, so you can practice those ones. What was the next command? I think the next command is the last one that on this chapter, who. We already did the who, and then who minus r. So who is going to show that my current user that I'm logged on is, that is exactly W Lutfi, and then who minus r also reveals the same information, run level 5. So if I just click on the who minus r, it is going to show you the run level 5 June 1502. And then that details is there. At the same time, if you look at the man pages for it, like man who, it will just give you all the simple examples of it and how to run them. And then clear the screen. If you're logged on a system, man who will just give you all the details as well. So I hope you enjoyed this one. This was just basically a video that I could just show you all these 33 commands. All you need is a browser to log into the system. When you're logged on the system, you could watch these YouTube video that I made already, or and this one that I'm gonna post tonight. You could watch these videos and learn from it. I believe if you just use this website and practice them, you don't need a Linux installation or a server to be run, whether it's VirtualBox or VMware or a Linux desktop. You don't need any of that one. All you need is a browser. Go to MyWebUniversity.com and then go to each chapter. Chapter 2 is the intermediate, basic Unix command. Chapter 3 is intermediate, and chapter 4 is advanced. So today I covered all chapter 2, and the next day I'm going to cover chapter 3. And again, for chapter 3 also I have these videos that you can watch them and practice them. But there's 33 commands. For just for the find command, I just have the command there, like how to do the find command. If you want to just learn it, learn this video, and then it will cover the details of the find command. Similarly, for chapter 4, which is advanced commands, there's about 110 commands or more, and then each one of them has a lot of arguments. So when you're learning it, you could practice it by just going through this documentation, reading it, or just actually run the command and then get the output there. Let's just go back here, and then I show you the change mode and change owner. So these files, I just sometimes say, well, I'm not going to allow somebody to just go on the browser and then change ownership of files and directories, but I want to just make sure they understand how to change the permissions of a file and directory. And here I just explain everything, the octet numbers, and then how you change the permission to 755, what it means, or read write executable, what it means, all those ones for the owner, user, group, and everything. And then one day I will cover the detail of it by examples, but you're welcome to read it and practice these ones online, and you will be well versed for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something from this one. We covered chapter 2, which was basic commands, and another day we will cover chapter 3, and another day chapter 4. So today I'm going to just go back to chapter 2. We covered all of the 33 commands here that are on this table. Select any command to start. Basically you need a browser and internet access. So all you need is a browser and internet access. Practice with them, learn them, and just use the website. And then if you want to just sit down and relax, you can watch the videos online. And then for chapter 2, I have enough videos here that is already on YouTube at my MyWebUniversity free educational videos channel. please subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe, because the more people subscribe, and those people will be the first one to see all the videos that I'm posting. I'm posting a lot of videos, not just shell scripting. I'm doing C++, Python, Unix, Linux, manual pages, documentation, a lot of stuff. Technical documentation, Windows, Solaris, everything that you can learn under the computer science major. Have fun, love and peace for all. I hope you all doing great. Have a good one. Take care. God bless you all. Bye.